And we're back with Legends of Lake Howell. This month, our guest is none other than Grant Maloy, Clerk of the Courts for Seminole County. Mr. Maloy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on this show. I think it's great if you're going out to old alumni and catching up and teaching kids how to do these productions.
Thank you. Now, as Clerk of the Court, can you tell us exactly what that job
Sure.
entails?
The Clerk of the Court and Comptroller is really the most important county office because of the responsibilities we have. Under the state constitution of Florida, there are 5 responsibilities. So we're the Comptroller, so we have the checkbook and savings account for all the county commission expenditures and all the savings accounts for the county commission. So we pay all the traffic lights, pay all the employees, pay first responders, send money to the sheriff's office, pay all the bills. There's a lot of responsibilities. We also do the supervisor of elections books. So then we're also the access to the courts, clerk of the court. Anytime you're accessing state or county courts, and there's hundreds and hundreds of different forms and cases, so we help people access the courts. We take care of court fines, things like that. If you have a traffic ticket, you come to us to pay the court fine. We also are the independent auditor for the county, so we audit all county expenditures. We can audit guardianship cases too, to keep track of those people who are vulnerable, make sure they're not being abused. We also are the commission record keeper, so we keep track of everything the county commission does. We keep track of votes, what happened at the meetings, make that public and transparent. And we also are the recorder for the county. So anytime you buy a house, if there's a mortgage recorded, if you're selling a business, those type of documents get put in the official record, and things like marriage licenses and other things. And then, so we're really the keeper of the history in a way. Old property records, we've actually gone through and digitized every record to the foundation of the county in 1913. So all that is online and accessible.
So that's quite a bit of information. So how many people do you have on your staff?
We run pretty efficiently. We have right now 183 total. And that is down from a peak of around 2006 or so, there were about 246 employees. So we're doing more with less, and that's thanks to mainly technology and being able to do things smarter.
So how was that transition in terms of going from the old paper to the digital technology in terms of filing?
When I got here, we had tape drive backups on some computers. We had a lot of paper around, and it was quite a challenge to transition because you have employees used to doing it to one way, and you had to invest in the technology. But once they understand the benefits they get out of it, that you can do things faster, you can pay people more because you're doing more with fewer people, right? It really became just a wonderful thing. And even when COVID happened, we were able to use that as a way to push the envelope on technology. So like our phone department works at home. They log into the system remotely. So we're able to help people out with lifestyle, still provide services, and do it at a smaller footprint as well. So it's been great. We've reduced our footprint overall by about, I think I told you earlier, about 19,000 square foot since I've been in office. So it's really helped, and that helps the taxpayers out too. You don't need as big a building.
Right. So is this position, Clerk of the Courts, is this an appointed position or is this an elected position?
It's a good question. It is elected, and so it's independently elected, just like the sheriff is, the supervisor election, the tax collector, and the property appraiser. So these are 5 what is called constitutional offices under the state of Florida. And we are commissioned by the governor directly. So it is an independent office. So you're my boss, right? I have to earn your support at election time, otherwise I'm out of a job. So I answer directly to the public, and that helps with that checks and balances in local government, because we have the checkbook and are not the county. We have this check and balance, like we'll review expenditures before they go out. So you don't have all eggs in one basket, so to thing. So to speak.
How long is a term?
The term is 4 years.
And you've been in this position since?
2017, it starts in January, so I'm in 8 years, and I just got reelected for another 4 years. And this is the first time I ever ran unopposed. So I find it's much easier to win when nobody else is on the ballot. So That was.
So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad
Oh,
thing because no one else wants the job.
Well, it could be too. Yeah, it could be too. There's a lot goes on here. But I tell you, I got a really good team. We've done a lot of management training, just a lot of technology improvements, and you know, everybody wants to do a good job. So we have really got a good culture here of appreciating people because they all have an important job to do, and sometimes they do it without a lot of thanks from the public. It's not easy dealing with somebody coming in that's in a domestic violence issue and you're trying to help them get the right services. So the job can be very stressful as well to a lot of these positions.
So in speaking of a job, what does a day look like for you in terms of like what do you do on a daily basis?
Well, that's a good question. This job really fits me well because I was a business owner before it. I owned a greenhouse company. We grow tropical house plants, not too far away from Lake Howell. It's right down the road on Gabriel Lane. My son runs that. He took it over. He's doing better than I did. He's a lot smarter than me. But this job is really a lot of everything. I'm dealing with employee issues. This week I was at a Clerk conference. You're getting training. We're discussing technology, the future of Clerk technology needs. We work with everybody, so I have to work with the sheriff's office, law enforcement, judges, public defender, state attorney, county commission. So there's a lot of moving pieces. So my job from day to day changes constantly. It could be one day we're working on employee benefits, you know, and then later in the afternoon I'm talking to a judge about a new process. Like right now we're starting a new process in juvenile court to do paperless court minutes. So it really jumps around a lot, and being a business owner, it really suits me well because I put good people in place, give the goals, and then I just oversee it, try to make sure the battleship's still sailing in the right direction, right?
So how do you prepare in terms of a career? How would a student who is looking to go into a field such as yours, how would they prepare for something like this?
Well, being an elected official is kind of a weird thing, right? Because really, truthfully, all you need to get elected to most places is not experience, it's just you got more votes than the other person, right? So sometimes the campaign and the political experience doesn't always get you the best people. Maybe it's the best people at running, but maybe not the best people at doing a job. But I think if you're going to do any elected office, the important things to do would be learn history, learn about economics, learn about government, also learn about people skills, and we really need people that are discerning, that are intelligent, but also are humble and are good leaders, because leadership requires you to make tough decisions, and it can be painful sometimes because you're making decisions that hurt other people. So I think anybody running for office, just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, that you want to do something. It's just not about your ego. So with this office, one of the things I did before I took over is I went and visited clerks all around the surrounding counties, and I'm asking questions like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And then when we got elected, they put us through a new clerk academy. So we went through 240 hours of training, and then you're talking to, the Department of Financial Services, and you're talking to, the folks who are managing child support and learning all this stuff. And it's a lot of knowledge. I don't know if anybody ever exactly gets it. You could probably be here 30 years and not know it all. So it's just anybody that wants to do this type of job, just learn and be humble and listen to people.
Now, prior to working as clerk of the court, you also served as county commissioner as well. So can you tell us a little bit about that job?
Sure. I ran back, believe it or not, in 1996, I got elected as a county commissioner. I was 29 years old, so I was one of the youngest county commissioners ever. And that's a bit different than this job, because on a board, you're one of several, right? And it's just a total different process, because you got other personalities, there's other issues. I really like serving people and trying to make our Seminole County a better place. That's, I grew up here, I want it to be a better place. Sometimes dealing with other politicians is a challenge, but I did enjoy the experience, and I did it for 2 terms, and I said I'd only do that. And then spent 12 years just running my business. And then when the previous clerk here retired, that's when I ran for this office. It really wasn't something I was thinking about. She encouraged me to do it, and the more I thought about it, I thought, well, let me give it a shot, because this is such an important office to the people, even if they don't know it. It's a very, if we shut down, the whole government shuts down in the county.
Wow. Now, normally as part of the program, we talk about your high school experiences, and we'll get to that next, but I want to talk about your hidden talent. So you're a part of a bluegrass band,
Oh,
and
yeah,
you play banjo.
I got it right in my office next door. Sure, yeah, I play banjo, I play guitar. Right now I'm playing bass in our church praise band. I rotate on that, but yeah, I love music. It's relaxing, it's fun. Anything that lowers the stress and is fun to do is something I like to do. But yeah, I love the banjo. Got it when I was in Lake Howell. I was 14 at the time, and noodled around on it. And then it's just a lot of fun. And in fact, in high school, I got a couple guitars too, and we were going to start a rock band, right? And we're going to be super famous. And I didn't think my lack of talent would really matter, because the Ramones made it big, and they didn't have any talent, but it didn't pan out. But we had fun.
So of all instruments, there's saxophone, there's clarinet, but banjo.
Yeah, it was mainly because of that Eagles song, "Take It Easy." At the end, they had the banjo at the end, and I thought that sounded really good. And every time I'd hear a banjo, it would stand out to me. And it is an unusual instrument, because it's one of the only instruments that really is kind of American, but it's based on an African instrument that came over, which was a gourd, and it had a different name. I've seen these things, and it was more of a percussion. I had like 3 strings. And then when it came over to America, it got changed into the modern. You have the jazz 4-string, and then you have the kind of the bluegrass 5-string. And it was very popular, especially in the late 1800s in jazz bands.
So you mentioned that you were in bands in high school, just recreationally. What are some of the other things that you did while in high school?
Well, in high school, I always tried out. I thought I was a better baseball player than I was, so I would try out, and I'd get cut the first round every time when I try out for baseball. But looking back, it's kind of a good experience. So if you try for something, you don't make it. I always had this joke that it wasn't because I wasn't talented enough. I thought it was because I couldn't spit enough on the baseball field, So, but no, I always get cut. And I was in Future Business Leaders of America. I did some, we had an IT class back then with Mr. Rainey, and I did some independent study with him, like a teacher's assistant. And, really loved that. And back then we're doing COBOL and BASIC programming. Yeah. Back on those, Apple boxes.
Right. Yes.
So I really had an interest in technology back then. And I enjoyed my experience at Lake Howell. It was a total different school then. It was that round building with no windows.
Right.
It was kind of weird, a little bit depressing, no walls inside. But I always enjoyed the teachers. They really seemed like they cared. Mr. Pelfrey in science was great. He really got me interested in science a lot, and had a certain, he made it exciting. That's always good when a teacher does that. My mom's she's passed away, but she was a teacher in Seminole County for 26 years.
Oh, wow. Where did she work?
English Estates Elementary School, yeah. So she had a long career here, and did it, taught in the military before that. So.
And then speaking of Mr. Pelfrey, I had the opportunity to work with him when I taught science.
Oh, really?
At Lake Howell as well. So was science one of your favorite subjects?
Oh, I love science. Yep, science. Yeah, science was great. Anything with biology or science, I just love that.
Did you have any other favorite subjects or classes that you enjoyed?
I liked history a lot, and really I've come to appreciate that more as I've gotten older, just trying to understand why did people do what they did at the time, and what were the results of it, because it all has an impact on the future. You can't change the past, but you can learn from it, and there's a lot of lessons there. So I really like history, and science are probably my favorite.
So now as a part of the program, where we always ask the same question, and that is, if you can look back at your history as a student at Lake Howell High School and describe that experience in one word, what would that one word be?
I would say fun. I enjoyed high school. Middle school? No, I hated middle school, but high school, I enjoyed it. It was a different experience. And it was nice to move on, and but I still have friendships today from guys I hung out with back then, and then life goes by fast. And the last year, 3 of the guys from my class have passed away. So one of the things I would just share to anybody, that's in high school is don't waste any time. Learn, be the best you can. Don't do anything stupid and wind up in the court system, right?
Right.
But life is short, so make the most of it and make a difference in our community.
Last question that I have for you, and looking back on your high school time, Is there any advice that you would give yourself with all the experiences as a business owner and having the opportunity to be in an elected position? What advice would you give yourself?
If I had to rewind and go back to high school, I would say be more. I was pretty shy back then, so I would have probably been a little bit more assertive and delved into things more, taken advantage of it more than I did, since I was more of a kind of a quiet person, and I wish I'd done more extracurricular activities and done that. But other than that, it was a great experience.
Well, Mr. Maloy, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time, and as always, go Silverhawks, stay Hawk strong.
Go Silverhawks.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.